Chapter 3, Lesson 4, How are Multiplication and Division Related? Today we are comparing to solve problems. Additive comparisons use addition or subtraction to compare. Multiplicative, that's a mouthful, comparisons use multiplication or division to compare. So we're going to talk about those. And this is really awesome. I think it should be in a purple box. And if you want to mark this page for future reference, I think this is a lot of great information because it's going to be part of word problems and help us figure out the way to solve word problems. So pay attention to this box, read it, love it, mark it, however will help you remember it, copy it into the cover. But additive comparison is going to use words like how much more, how many more, or how much less. Multiplicative comparison uses words like how many times more or how many times greater. Okay, example 1. Brian has been to a water park 4 times. Sarah has been to the water park 3 times as many times as Brian. How many times has Sarah been to the water park? So let's highlight what we know. We know Brian has been 4 times. It does not like. We know Sarah has been 3 times as many. And the question we need to answer, how many times has Sarah been to the water park? Our plan is to write an equation. They've given us 4 because we know that Brian has been to the water park 4 times. The problem also tells us Sarah has been to the water park 3 times as many. So since you see the word times, that's a good clue. We're probably doing multiplication. And since it says 3 times as many, 4 times 3. They made the answer the variable in this case. You cannot solve a problem with 2 variables like they left this problem to begin with. We had to go up to the problem and find that other number or you cannot solve it. So we're going to draw a picture to show 3 times as many as 4 or 3 groups of 4. So I just did the drawing 3 times as many as 4. So here's one group of 4 and I did 3 times as many as that. So I have 3 rows with 4 in each row. So 4 times 3 is 12. Since S equals 12, that means Sarah has been to the water park 12 times. And that's how that is solved, using the model with the counters. Now, example 2, we have a different kind of situation. Jess has 18 baseball cards. She has 6 times as many baseball cards as Max. How many baseball cards does Max have? So highlighting what we know Jess has 18 cards. And we know she has 6 times as many as Max. What do we need? We need to find how many baseball cards does Max have in order to get the answer, or in order to solve this. Now, in the other one, the variable was the product. In this case, we know how many the total is. 18 is 6 times as many. So we know that what the missing information is one of the factors. Write an equation, let the the gray box represent the number of baseball cards that Max has. So this is for how many cards Max has. So that's the question that we need to solve. And we know she has 6 times as many. So 6 times as many. And the other number we have is 18. That is the total that she has. So we need to figure out what times 6 equals 18. And you can either solve it by how I just said, or you can do 18 divided by 6. Either way, you'll end up with the same answer. But it asks us to draw 6 equal groups of squares, drawing a total of 18 squares. So I'm going to get that set. So I did that. I followed the directions. Draw 6 equal groups of squares. So I had 1 group, 2 groups, 3 groups, 4 groups, 5 groups, 6 groups. And I kept going until I hit 18 squares. So I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Just separating the 18 out into my 6 groups. And you'll see each group has the same number of squares. Each group has 3 squares. And since there are 3 squares in each group, the gray box is 3, so Max has 3 baseball cards. And that's the other way to solve these equations using groups. So your guided practice was fairly well laid out. I do want to call attention to when you start doing these on your own, that part that I mentioned earlier is going to be really important. You'll probably be referring back to it because these key words come up in each of the problems, and you'll need to know in order to set your equation up properly. You'll need to refer back to that chart and use that to help you write the equation before you just find your answer, because I will be looking for the equations, not just an answer written on the line.